Thank you for coming today, and I have the first question. What is the function of the federal government?
Oh, that's an easy one. To protect our rights, Declaration of Independence.
Thank you.
Why do you want to be elected to the position of federal legislator, and what are your primary goals?
I'll start with the last part of that first. My primary goal is to restore limited government, to return the United States government to its proper constitutional limited functions, which are outlined in Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, specifically identifies the 20 legitimate functions of the federal government, backed up by the 10th Amendment. Outside of that, of course, the government is doing most of the things they have no business doing, which is why we have record deficits. You know, they're spending money on things they have no business doing. What was the first part again?
Why do you want to be elected to the position of a federal legislator?
That's a great question. I'm not running because I want to run. In fact, when people call me a politician, I cringe. I'm running because I have to run. I'm a certified financial planner by trade. Part of what I do is having a deep understanding of the economy. I understand that money doesn't grow on trees. I understand you can't put out an economic crisis that was caused by cheap money and easy credit with more cheap money and easy credit. And I started seeing the things with the bailouts and the stimulus, the cap and trade, the bailouts, and I'm just not going to look my kids in the eye and say, I could have done something. I understood probably better than most people, based on my 30 years in financial services, what was going on, but I decided to sit on the couch and yell at the TV and throw the remote control at Chris Matthews. It doesn't work. So I believe that my background lends a lot to going to Washington, D.C. I was back there and met with Ed Royce. He's on the Financial Services Committee. There's no one with a financial services background on the Financial Services Committee.
You're kidding.
So I would be joining those rocket scientists like Maxine Waters and Barney Frank. And you know, they're back there doing things like this 1,400-page financial reform bill. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the two bad actors in this housing meltdown, aren't even mentioned.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff I think I can bring to the table.
Thank you, Matthew.
What are the most critical issues facing the country today, and how will you contribute to the solutions?
Number one, I think, is the deficit. And around the deficit is, of course, restoring limited constitutional government. Those go hand in hand, they're intertwined. My number one goal would be to restore constitutional limited government. But some specific things that I would promote, that I would vote for, that I would co-sponsor immediately would be the Enumerated Powers Act, which specifically identifies in Article 1, Section 8, or require legislators to identify in Article 1, Section 8, where in the Constitution, in those 20 enumerated powers, they have the authority to do what they want to do. That would stop 95% of the nonsense that they're doing back there. Another thing that I would support is called the One Subject at a Time bill, which would keep them from doing things like taking over the student loan industry and the healthcare bill. They can only pass one subject at a time.
What a concept.
Yeah, what a concept. Another thing I would promote, which is a Liberty Amendment. Think of the Liberty Amendment as Article 1, Section 8, enumerated powers, and the 10th Amendment, taking that and putting it on steroids. It shouldn't be necessary, but basically what it just reaffirms, which the 10th Amendment already affirmed, but we have to just make it clear to these people that they cannot go outside and do things outside of the Constitution. The other thing I'm for, which would be incredible for the economy, is to scrap the 70,000 pages of incomprehensible legalese, gobbledygook of IRS tax code. I would eliminate the IRS. I'd vote to eliminate the IRS. I'd replace it with the fair tax, which is a national sales tax. Often confused with a VAT. It's not a VAT. It's only on the retail level. It would be non-favoritism. Everybody pays it. Every time a drug dealer buys a Lamborghini, they pay it. Every time an illegal alien buys something, they pay it. Everybody pays it. It's revenue neutral for the government. You have to make it that way, I think, to get it passed. But it would eliminate taxes on Social Security income. You keep 100% of your paycheck. Retired people, when they take money out of their IRAs, would be tax-free. 401ks tax-free. Payroll taxes would no longer have to be paid. The corporate income tax, which is the second highest rate in the civilized world, of 35%, would be eliminated. That's, a major reason why jobs are going overseas is companies, to survive, have to go to more favorable environments where they have better tax treatment. So a lot of those jobs would come home. There's trillions of dollars in that. We spend $300 billion just complying with IRS tax regulations as a country. $300 billion. Which, to put that into perspective, that's about the annual deficit that President Bush averaged per year. So it would have, in essence, wiped that out. It's simple, it's easy, and it's transparent, and it would be a boon for the economy. Those are some things specifically I would do. If I could wave a magic wand.
Okay, we'll try to.
I have question 4. How should the country solve its budgetary issues? What specific programs would you cut?
2,000 federal subsidies. There are 2,000 federal subsidies. I would cut bureaucracies, not cut the amount they're spending, but eliminate federal bureaucracies. For example, I am pro-education, which is why we should eliminate the Department of Education.
That wasn't on here, and that was going to be my question.
Yeah, they have 4,100 employees. They haven't educated one kid yet. $78 billion last year. I'm just giving you one example. There's a lot of other things I cut, but I'm giving you an example here. Otherwise, this would be a very long interview. $78 billion, doubled under George W. Bush. Started in the 1970s under Jimmy Carter. Question for you folks. Are your kids or grandkids graduated better today than they were in the 1970s? No. But yet, whatever the problem is, just throw more money at it, throw more money at it, throw more money at it. Well, it's easy to do when it's not your money, it's someone else's. So the Department of Education. Department of Agriculture, $119 billion. They have 7,000 offices across the United States. Starbucks has 11,000. We're still paying farmers not to farm, to keep food prices artificially high, when people can't afford groceries. Now tell me that makes sense. But they've been doing it since the Great Depression. This is why Ronald Reagan said the closest thing to eternal life we'll ever see on this planet is a government bureaucracy. So I would vote to eliminate departments like that. Another one's the Department of Energy. Not to beat a dead horse here. In the 70s, their objective was only one thing. Not reduce, but eliminate dependence on foreign oil. You go to their website now and look at their mission statement, you look at their goals, that's not even mentioned. I don't mean it's not in their top 10. It's not mentioned. Acts.